Hi, this is Sean. I'm going to try my first video blog. I've seen a couple of these online and they look pretty cool. So I don't know that this will be cool, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. We are out on a dual sport ride, or I am out on a dual sport ride by myself um, in the Florida Panhandle, near, I guess, a little bit to the east of Pensacola, almost due north of Destin, Florida, up in the Blackwater River area. We're at Blackwater State Park staying right now, and it's a really cool place. If you look right over here, there is the Blackwater River. Um, we paddled that yesterday and had a blast. I'm going to probably throw some footage on this video of that paddle. Kim and I had an incredible time. We've been having an incredible time this entire trip. So what I wanted to do here was kind of recap our trip for the last month or so, and kind of give everybody an idea, so you won't have to go back and read all the whole blog if you don't want to. You can kind of pick up a few things along the way and that might interest you, maybe not. And like always with my blog, the primary purpose of my blog is for myself. I mean, it really is for Kim and I to go back and recall some great memories, some of the trips that we've done, while we're still young enough to do it. The reason we retired early was so that we could get out here and do some things a little bit more than a lot of the older set, and what we're not going to be able to be capable of as we get older. So, what this trip is all about was really three separate legs. We had three primary destinations in mind. I guess the third one really just a return back to Missouri, but we left Missouri just a little after Christmas. I think it was on the 29th of December, and we headed to Texas. The crazy part was that at that time there had been just torrential rains, major storm coming through, even snow and ice over in Oklahoma. So we looked at all our options and said, you know what, the best option is to go due south. I mean, so we went right through Arkansas, down through Little Rock, stayed one night at Little Rock right along the Arkansas River, watched the river rise there. That was pretty crazy. And then headed into Texas. The first destination being the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We stopped in Dangerfield, Texas, and really expected very little from that, but ended up going to a $1.50 theater one night, an old-fashioned theater, and watched Star Wars for the second time. That was pretty cool. That was a very interesting event. But anyway, then we got in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and one of the things that's really important to us about this lifestyle is that we get to be with family more often than we had been in our previous life. And so an example of that was right around New Year's. I got to see both of my brothers that live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Kim got to see her parents and really all of her siblings. Although a little controversial at one point, it was still pretty fun, and it was actually very fun. And we really had a good time. We stayed at Cleburne State Park there south of Fort Worth, and hung out there for, I don't know, about 5 days or so. And then we headed south, and as I wrote in my blog, we had one plan, or I had one plan, and then Kim decided she had a different one. And gotta be willing to change in this world. So we took off in a different direction and went down to a place called Lockhart State Park, and wow, what a hidden gem that was. Had a very cool little 9-hole golf course, and I played my brains out for 2 days, to the point that you could play all day for $9, and I was worn out, and after 2 days I'd had enough. Kim got a day over to see her aunt that lives over in New Braunfels. Very valuable. She's having a tough time health-wise, and Kim got to go spend some time, help her out with a few things, and she just loves to do that. So again, another example of us being able to do more than we used to be able to do as families concerned. Then we headed out down to Goose Island, and had one stop on the way at Palmetto State Park, and then which was cool. Had a lot of really nice hiking trails and biking trails there. And then went down to Goose Island. And Goose Island, we were there last year. Had a great time there last year. Had another great time again this year. Didn't catch any fish though. That was the only problem with that part of it. But fish is one of those things that doesn't always agree with me anyway. So, but we did a paddle all the way around the island, Um, saw some dolphins. Came right up close to our boat. Once again, the boat is proving to be a very, very excellent addition to our lifestyle. So we hung out there for about a week, and then headed to Galveston. Another example of, a place that, being a long ways away from Missouri, I don't know if we would have been able to make it down there if I was still working. But as it was, one of my favorite people in Kim's family, and I love everybody in that family, but I got to tell you, they got some really special people, and Uncle Kenny is one of those people, and we got to be there for his 80th birthday party that they had for him. Big surprise birthday party. A lot of family there, a lot of families showing their love for him, and it was awesome. We had a great time. Got to see a lot of people we haven't seen in a long time. Really good social time. And then hung out on Sunday, watched some football games over at Mike's place, and there in Tiki Island, and got to spend most of the day with Kenny there. So that was really cool, and did a little touring around Galveston. He's lived on the island his whole life, and so to get him to tour guide you around the island is special because he knows about a lot of things that nobody else knows about. So that was cool. And then so we hung out at Galveston State Park there for, I guess it was about 5 days. Did a lot of biking, a lot of hiking. Notice I've been doing a lot of biking and hiking. I'm actually working on trying to eat less, and that's kind of been my New Year's resolution, and maybe lose a little weight. I don't know. I'm not sure if I've accomplished that, but I do feel like I'm in a little better shape, which has been good. So then we did something cool. We took the trailer across the Bolivar Ferry, which was neat. Saw some dolphins while we were out on that crossing, and then onto the Bolivar Peninsula. So basically, we visited the Houston area, or the Galveston area, without ever going to Houston, which was a big bonus. I do not like to drive in major cities. So we headed over to Lake Charles, and which was a really fun drive, and then got into Lake Charles and stayed at a little state park there called Sam Houston Jones State Park, and that was nice, and got a few things done. Did some maintenance on the truck, oil change, that kind of stuff, and ready to take on the rest of this trip. So if you look at the trip overall, the drive south to Galveston was about 1,000 miles, and then the second leg of the trip here is we're headed to Orlando, and that's about 1,000 miles also, and then it's about 1,000 miles from Orlando back to Missouri. So that's kind of our general plan, and the details are up in the air from there. But anyway, so we stayed at Lake Charles for a couple days, and then headed to New Orleans. Kim has always wanted to go to some Mardi Gras parades in the New Orleans area, so we did that. We did a bunch of parades. Did one parade on Friday night. I don't remember what the date was. I think it was the 31st or something like that. And then, or maybe it was the 30th. Not important. Anyway, then we went over to the actual city of New Orleans and did some uptown parades. Did the quarter thing, just walked through, beignets at Cafe Du Monde, all that kind of good stuff. Went to church actually at the St. Louis Cathedral downtown, which is, we did that last time we were there as well, and just as beautiful. Just kind of a special experience there. And then hung out with this really cool family that was, there were a lot of families at those parades, which was a bit surprising because they stayed up all through the last one, which wasn't over till almost 11 o'clock at night. But the kids love the parades and love to get the throws, and my favorite thing to do is to catch stuff and then hand it to the kids. So that's height is an advantage, and so and it's nice to catch stuff because if it hits the ground, it usually breaks. So anyway, so that's what we did. Kim walked out of there with a backpack full of beads, so now we have beads all over the trailer. I should take some video of that, or just take a couple snaps of that, because that's a pretty crazy looking trailer right now. But anyway, and then we left there and went to Gulf State Park, which is right down in Gulf Shores, Alabama, and it was a really cool park. The only problem, it was pretty expensive. It was like $50 a night, and we went there specifically to see some friends that we met last year when we were on Goose Island. And I gotta tell you, that's one of the things that is kind of unique about this lifestyle, is you don't really get to spend a lot of time with friends like you would if they were, in your hometown. And we certainly have some great friends in Missouri, but But these are kind of special friends because they're younger full-timers. They're, you know, I guess just turned, Bob just turned 60, but definitely young and you know, very interested in adventures and that kind of stuff. So hanging out with them was just awesome. We spent three days together. Hopefully we didn't wear out our welcome with them, because we really would like to spend more time with them in the future, you know, when our paths cross again. So anyway, it was good. Just did some fun stuff there. It was kind of cold and windy, but you know, it really didn't matter. We just kind of like to hang out and talk anyway. And we did that, and then got here on Friday. We had reservations here. We have actually been making more reservations on this trip than we have in the past. It seems like going east, especially this time of year, things are more full, especially on the weekends, and so you got to kind of plan it out. So far, we had a big problem with that, so it's worked out okay. Just we're kind of a little bit more on a schedule, which isn't quite our style, but it'll work. Giving ourselves plenty of flexibility in that plan. But they do charge reservation fees and that kind of stuff. So we came back to a place from there that we've been to before, but we didn't have a boat, and we thought that the Blackwater River really looked cool. So we got here on Friday and checked out the river, and everybody was saying, well, you know, the river's flooded, it's outside of its banks, not sure it's a great paddle river right now. And so we kind of decided we weren't going to do that. And then I went and talked to the ranger the next day, and he was like, you know what, if I started telling him, you know, fairly experienced paddlers, and not really, but good enough, you know, and we have a great boat, you know, that's very not tippy at all, and he says, you know what, you'll be fine. He says, I paddled this river, it's a lot bigger than this. And so anyway, we headed out yesterday, and just had a blast. I mean, just, it was really, really good. It was one of those paddles where you had to be busy the whole time, because you had snags on both sides, and you had to really, you know, maneuver your way through. It was kind of a slalom course, especially in the first part of the paddle. And but that made it fun. I mean, it was a good workout. And anyway, so then today, went to church this morning, and then got back and decided, you know, I wanted to go. I had the bike, you know, off the trailer for the first time on this trip, which is kind of sad, but reality. And decided that what I wanted to do was get the bike out and run on some of these sand roads out here. There's a bunch of roads out here that are nothing but sand, and you know, that's very foreign to a Missouri guy, but you know, it's fun. It's like riding on a sand motocross track. Probably shouldn't be going as fast as I've been going, but still a lot of fun. And anyway, the only rocks you see are at the landings where they've poured a bunch of gravel down. So other than that, you know, you're pretty good. And I don't have the best tires for it, but the old 650's chugging along and getting it done. So anyway, that's a quick overview of our trip so far. We've got reservations actually to stay at a place in Orlando for a month. We did that simply because it was the least expensive option, and why not? You know, let's try something different. Spend the month in Orlando. We're gonna have a season pass at the Orlando Universal Studios anyway. Might as well use it. And Kim's been saying she's gonna go every day. I don't think so, but I'm not going every day. But because I've got a lot of other plans, a lot of other things I want to do while I'm there. I've been to Orlando a few times on business, but never been there for pleasure, and I'm really looking forward to it. Want to go to the Kennedy Space Center. That's very high on the priority list. And anyway, that's a quick overview of what we've been doing, and hopefully this isn't too boring or too long. But we, you know, wish everybody out there that is watching this, and anybody that reads my blog, thanks for doing so. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it brings some, you know, something to you. I don't know what it might be for you individually, but maybe helping you establish your own dreams. So anyway, we're living our dream, and I hope you are too. So have a good day, and we'll be talking to you again soon.